So I want to address sexual numbness. So this is one of the most unsettling experiences because when there's numbness, it's very hard to orient and feel and sense. You know, at least when there's pain, there's a sense of like, okay, I'm here, I exist. The threat of non-existence and numbness and not being able to feel is very disorienting and can be very disturbing. So numbness might show up vaginally, cervically, or at your heart, or actually anywhere along your central channel. And I think it's first of all really important to point out that numbness is and can be a healthy and normal response of your nervous system. You know, the freeze is a very good defense response to trauma. So if you've had emotional or physical trauma, and when I say trauma, it might be very kind of so-called minor trauma, such as holding shame in the body, everyday trauma, such as comparing yourself to images or ideas of how you should be, and then shutting yourself down because you don't feel like you're good enough. So, or trauma where you haven't had a choice and you've had to go along with something. So trauma can show up in many ways in the nervous system, but generally, let's just say it's a time when you did not feel safe and you had to shut down and possibly shut down multiple times, which causes a freeze in the system. So let's start at the heart. If you are experiencing feelings of unworthiness or relational trauma, fear of intimacy, you find it hard to open up and receive or give love, there could be a hardening freeze at the heart. So the first thing that you want to do is go in and learn to be with whatever you are experiencing, knowing that numbness or hardness is in itself a sensation. There is an experience to learn from, to be with. So when you are sitting with sensations, stay with it and notice if it changes, notice if it moves, notice if it has anything to say to you. What do you need to say to this place that feels numb? Perhaps it's your inner child. Perhaps you need to say, I'm here, you're safe, I have you. It might be that you need to communicate needs, desires, or set a boundary. What is it that you need to feel safe so that you can slowly relax and unthaw? So this idea of unthawing is essentially touching into where you feel the freeze. And when it comes to your heart, you can touch in with awareness or communicating, either speaking from the heart, journaling, or speaking to the heart as if you were parenting your heart. You might also want to get some support from a therapist who can really help you access difficult feelings at the heart. So the heart, if you've had emotional trauma, it will often mirror in the pelvis, and vice versa, actually. So if you're experiencing vaginal numbness, it's the same deal. It's like a freeze of your nervous system locked in the tissue. So you can place a finger on places where you feel numb, thinking of it like ice. So you put your finger on the place where you feel frozen and you hold it there with an intention to love. No agenda to push through, no agenda to feel anything, just allowing the numbness to be there and to express itself the way it needs to, or to move or to stay, whatever it needs. You just are there being present to it. Remembering that at some point this was very necessary for you to numb in that area. Numbness could be the result of unconscious sex, going along with sex when you didn't really feel like it numerous times, or a lot of friction, which can cause a hardening in the tissue, or it could be actual sexual abuse, disassociation, or just simply a lack of awareness. Medical procedures where you've had to check out. All sorts of things can cause vaginal cervical numbness. So you want to approach the tissue with a very different energy, an energy of love, compassion, holding, and patience. Place your finger there, love the tissue alive, and just allow and invite the tissue to relax and unthaw so that you can begin to feel. And you might experience a release, whatever was blocked or whatever was frozen in the tissue. Could be some emotion, could be heat, could be shaking. You might experience a release, or you might not. You might simply be unlocking a fear holding in the tissue. So you're training a new neural pathway with a new intention of love and opening and softening and safety, right? So you can do this for yourself, or you can do it with a therapist. So for example, a body worker working internally, or a somatic therapist to help you feel what might be frozen emotionally. So ultimately, we're going for a state of openness, a state of where you're not protecting and controlling to the extent that you might need to if you feel unsafe. So over time, you can fully relax and surrender into the pleasure that is there, just needs to be unlocked in the heart or the tissue of the vagina. If you want more information about this, you can find it in our free guide, How to Find Your C-Spot, and you can find that by clicking on the link in our bio. All right.